The Immortal John Hancock here, and today I'm going to be talking about Sega's recent announcements and how I feel about them. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified when new videos are being posted. Alright, if you don't know, I'm a huge Sega fan. I grew up with Sega. I remember playing Sega in the arcades and playing lots of Sega games on home consoles that I owned, and oh my gosh. And so I love to collect Sega. I love many games that Sega has made, and one of my first arcade games that I remember growing up and playing was Shinobi, the original Shinobi, and had so much fun. And as time went on, played Space Harrier, Outrun, many others, Golden Axe, Altered Beast. I love Sega, and you know, it's a big part of my collecting. I collect and actually have almost every US release of Sega systems and the games to accompany them in my collection, and so it's a big deal. Okay, so I am a huge Sega fan, and so when I heard that Sega had a big announcement coming up, I was really excited because, you know, to me, Sega is just it's now a third-party company, and they make games for other consoles, and they've kind of faded a bit, even though they're probably doing better, you know, not doing hardware. It was always in the back of my mind, it would be great if Sega had a big announcement that they were, you know, getting back into making hardware, you know. And so when Sega, you know, when this announcement kind of grew and the hype grew, and you know, it was even being compared to the announcement of the PS5 by some, and so I was really excited. I had all these ideas in my head. What could Sega be announcing? Okay, maybe Sega is going to be announcing, you know, coming back to maybe a Dreamcast 2, or maybe, you know, there was rumors of them merging with Microsoft or working with Microsoft, you know, with the new Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. Oh, I was excited. And then the news dropped. It was actually two parts. You know, the first part is bizarre. So they announce this Game Gear Micro. Okay, it's only in Japan. It's a series of 4 different colored Game Gear micro consoles. Tiny little things. They fit in the palm of your hand. If you got a big palm, then it's going to fit in half of your palm. And so these are a novelty item that's going to be sold only in Japan. They're $50 a piece. They include 4 games. Each colored Game Gear includes a different series of games. This has been announced in Forbes, The Verge. You know, many media outlets have talked about what the Game Gears include, and it really is at this point not that important. Okay, as a collector, cool. That's cool. That's novelty, but it's tiny. Like, okay, Game Gear, and it just out of nowhere. So a micro Game Gear that includes 4 games apiece. Some good games, some very expensive games. Okay, there's classics such as let's look here, the list here. It includes the black one has Sonic, Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, and Royal Stone. You know, some of those are expensive. That aside from the point of the games included with the micro Game Gears, okay, the screen is only 1.15 inches. Okay, it can be charged USB, micro USB, and then it runs off 2 AAA batteries. Okay, I'm not going to be playing Game Gear games that way. Okay, it's a cool collectible, and really, you know, Sega makes weird stuff all the time. It's the fact that it was hyped up as such a big an announcement. And that's just part of the announcement. Okay, I get it. You know, the other announcement is even more bizarre. And so the other announcement was that they were going to utilize arcade hardware and make some, it's called fog gaming. So it's not like cloud gaming. It's going to offer arcade game experience for people at home who still want to play arcade games and some type of awesome backlog. It's okay, and it's only going to be in Japan. And so it's like, as a lifelong Sega fan, I feel disappointed. Okay, these are announcements that any company would make, but hyping it up so much. You know, I think there's so many fans worldwide that love Sega, and that Sega makes they make excellent arcade gaming experiences. Their franchises, you know, Sonic, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, the Streets of Rage 4 that just came out, great game. And so to get this announcement, I feel disappointed. And Sega doesn't owe anybody anything, okay? But it's kind of like, you know, it's a realization that Sega, you know, maybe some of Sega's best gaming is in the past, you know. I don't know. I wanted to think that Sega was just going to come back, guns blazing, and maybe make some new hardware, or maybe make the Dreamcast 2, or maybe they still have something to announce. But the announcements that came out were disappointing. I'm disappointed. And that's coming from a huge Sega fan. I've been a Sega fan my whole life. And so, am I going to get the micro Game Gears? Maybe. But they're kind of expensive. I'm not going to play them. I'm not going to play Game Gear games on a 1.15 inch screen. I'm sorry, I'm not. You know, if I had a choice, I would play it on a modded Game Gear with a modded screen, or even better, playing it, you know, with the Game Gear adapter through my Retron 5 and playing it on a bigger screen, you know, or another way. You know, that's coming from someone with the entire US Game Gear loose cart collection. I love Game Gear. Nothing against Game Gear. Just don't want to play it on a one inch screen. And the fog gaming, that's great. It doesn't mean I can play any more of their great backlog. That's what it comes down to. I want to appreciate what Sega has offered and will offer. And I wish there was more ways of playing as a gamer to play their amazing backlog. I think it's great that they're even thinking of offering ways for people to play their backlog, and maybe that fog gaming is going to turn into that. I need more details. You know, is there a way as a person who lives in the States to appreciate and play Sega's backlog? Because they have an amazing backlog that goes far beyond Sega Genesis. I wish they offered more Sega Master System. I wish they offered more Sega Saturn, and even more Sega Dreamcast. You know, too many times companies take kind of what sold the best, you know, 20, 30 years ago. They condense it into one greatest hits little package and offer that to gamers. And I think it does their backlog a disservice. I think that they are much better than what they are offering people, and I think I would hopefully like them to expand upon their services and games that they're offering to others. Hopefully they're hearing what I'm saying. Maybe not. Maybe someone at Sega is hearing this, and I would just love for them to think about that. You know, and this is not just Sega, an issue with Sega. It's with a huge issue with Nintendo. Nintendo is probably the #1 culprit, where they need to offer more of their backlog to people to play and enjoy. And so that's it. I'm disappointed. Sega turned 60, and it was kind of like being excited about going to a party, and the party kind of just being kind of a bust. And so I will continue to love Sega, and I'll continue to play Sega. I just don't know if I care about the 2 announcements they just did. What do you think? Comment below. Did you hear about these? What are your thoughts of it? Are you pre-ordering the Game Gear Micros? Do you think fog gaming is going to be anything? I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you for commenting on my videos. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. This is the Immortal John Hancock. You take care.